A long, long time ago, old Mrs. Doll lived in a narrow house at the edge of town. And she had a little maid named young Kate. Now one day, Mrs. Doll sent young Kate up to the attic to clean the windows. And as she cleaned, she looked out and she saw the meadow that lay at the edge of town. When her work was done, she went to Miss Doll and said, "Ma'am, may I go to the meadow?" "Oh, no," said Miss Doll. "You mustn't go to the meadow." "But why ever not?" "Because you might meet the green woman. Now, bar the door and mend the stockings." So young Kate mended the stockings. But the next week, when she went up to clean the attic windows, she looked out and she saw the river that ran through the valley. When her work was done, she went to Miss Doll. She said, "Ma'am, may I go to the river?" "Absolutely not. You mustn't go to the river." "But why ever not?" "Because you might meet the River King. Now, shut the blinds and polish the brass." So young Kate polished the brass, but the next week, when she went up to the attic to clean the windows, she looked out and she saw the big hill and the wood that lay at the top. And when her work was done, she went to Miss Doll and said, "Ma'am, may I please go to the woods?" "Law, no. You must never, ever go to the woods." "But why ever not?" "Because you might meet the dancing boy. Now, shut the door and peel the potatoes." Now, Miss Doll sent young Kate no more to the attic, and for 6 years, she mended the stockings and polished the brass and peeled the potatoes. But then, Miss Doll died, and young Kate had to find a new place. Her new place was at the far edge of town. And as young Kate had no carriage, she was obliged to walk. But do you think she went by the road? No. Just as soon as she had her few things packed, lickety-split, she headed toward the meadow. And who was the first person she saw there but the green woman? "Howdy, young Kate. And where might you be going?" "To the far side of town." "Well, you should have taken the road if you meant to be quick, for I let nobody pass through my meadow if they do not first plant a flower." "I'll plant one, and gladly." And young Kate took the green woman's trowel and she planted a daisy. And when she was done, the green woman said, "Thank you kindly, young Kate. Now, pluck yourself a handful. For every flower you plant, you shall pluck 10. So young Kate plucked her handful of flowers, and the green woman kissed her and sent her on her way. Now, soon enough, young Kate came to the river that ran through the valley. And who did she see sitting there but the River King? "Howdy do, young Kate, and where might you be going?" "Over to the far side of town." "Well, you ought to have taken the road if you are in a hurry, for I let nobody pass through my river who does not first stop to sing a song." "Well, I'll sing one, happily." And she sat down in the reeds and sang, oh, the river deep and wide, watch the sky so blue. Oh, the water deep and wide, watch the sky so blue. And said, our channels here are dark, gazing ever at the stars. And on one such star we saw a single flower bloom. But come down to the red clay and the ripples down. Come away now. Well, I thank you, young Kate. Now, listen to me. And he sang song after song as the afternoon wore on. And when he was done, he kissed her and said, for every song you sing, you shall always hear 10. And he sent her on her way. Now by and by, she came to the great hill that ran by the side of the town and the wood on top. And she'd go no farther than a few steps into the woods when she saw the dancing boy. Howdy, young Kate. And where might you be going? To the far side of town. Well, you ought to take in the road if you wanted to be there by sundown, for I let nobody through my woods who does not stop to dance. Well, I will dance with joy, said Kate, and there she did. Well, I thank you. Now, watch me. And he danced as the sun went down. And the moon came up. And when the moon was as bright, when the woods were as bright by the light of the moon as they were by the sun, he kissed her. And he said, for every dance you dance, you shall always see 10. And he sent her on her way. Now, young Kate's new place was on the far side of the town with old Miss Drew, who lived in a narrow house on the edge of town, and she had no attic windows, and she didn't let Kate go out to the meadow or the river or the woods, and she shut the door at 7 o'clock sharp. But by and by, young Kate got married. And she had 10 little children of her own and a little maid. And every day when the work was done, she would send them out and say, why don't you go down to the meadow or out to the river or perhaps up to the woods at the top of the hill, for I shouldn't wonder you may meet the green woman or the river king or the dancing boy. And the children would run out, and presently Kate would see them coming back again, singing and dancing with their hands full of flowers.